Hey YouTube, it's Vinny here for another cap of the week, and this week we're going to look at a classic cap, the New York Giants cap. So as many of you know, the San Francisco Giants, just like the Los Angeles Dodgers, used to play in New York. Both teams left Brooklyn and Manhattan, where the New York Giants played, after the 1957 season to go westward. And this iteration was the final edition of the New York Giants cap. That was worn from 1949 to 1957. So let's take a look. Now, I think right off the top of the bat, the first thing you're going to know, other than the obvious Giants colors of black and orange, is how similar this logo is to the Mets logo. And that's not a coincidence, because when the Mets came in 1962 as an expansion franchise, they were meant to bring back fans for both the Dodgers and the Giants. So National League Baseball in New York represented the same logo that they used in their last iteration as the Giants, and similar to a Dodger blue. So there's a reason why the New York Mets, in addition to having the city colors, have that logo, because it was the exact same logo used by the Giants. So without further ado, let's take a look. So this is the cap from 49-57. It is a Roman Pro, and I'm just going to read it off here. The Giants wore this cap from 49 till they moved to San Francisco in 58. In 1954, they won the National League Pennant behind Willie Mays' MVP year, and they went on to beat the Cleveland Indians, which was a stunning surprise given how good the Indians were that year. This cap was also worn by Bobby Thomson for the famous shot heard around the world in the 1951 National League playoff, where the Dodgers lost to the Giants in 3 games, and the Giants subsequently lost the World Series to the Yankees in 51. But in terms of hats, it's your classic Roman Pro Cooperstown cap. So this was made late 80s, early 90s. It's got Kelly green underbrim. It's got the leather sweatband. Roman, Randolph, New York, size 7 1/4, with the classic Cooperstown logo in the back. So this cap's got a lot of history. Obviously, when the Giants decided to move to San Francisco, they did keep their colors. They still have the same orange and black, but instead they changed the logo to a interlocking SF for San Francisco. It is a little bit sad about the Giants, because even though they won the World Series in 54, they weren't as financially healthy as the Dodgers. The Dodgers wanted to leave Ebbets Field for greener pastures, just because they couldn't get enough people to fill the stadium. There was talk for the city to build a stadium for the Dodgers in Queens, but O'Malley said, hey, listen, I want to be in Brooklyn. And I think there was leverage used for the Dodgers to move out to LA, since LA was willing to give them land for a stadium. The Giants, meanwhile, they weren't doing very well financially. They weren't getting the attendance numbers they wanted to at the Polo Grounds. The owner decided to move, and initially they were going to move to Minnesota, to Minneapolis, where they had the AAA territorial rights. But when word came that the Dodgers were looking to move west, they needed a travel partner, and so they decided, worked out with the Giants where they could preserve their rivalry 3,000 miles to the west. So the Giants and Dodgers have been playing forever. They used to play a few miles away on a subway series, and now, unfortunately, it's a an I-5 series with San Fran and LA. It does stink the Dodgers and Giants don't play in New York. It would have been pretty cool to have 3 teams, but obviously if there were 3 teams in New York, the Mets would not have been a 4th team. But it is interesting to see how the logo is very similar to the New York Mets' current logo, so the heritage still remains, and it's a classic cap. But the Giants did have different cap designs before this, different styles of the NY. Also, they had navy blue as a color instead of the black and orange we know today. But it was the last worn in 1957 with Willie Mays on the team, and it still stands as a symbol of yesteryear along with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Anyway, for cap of the week, see ya.